problem number 2 from section 6.4. They ask you to find the 6 trig functions of the angle pi over 6 by hand. All right. Well, we know that pi over 6 is the 30-degree angle, right? So if we have pi over 4, pi over 3, this is pi over 3, pi over 4, this is pi over 6 on my unit circle. I can pull that unit circle out and you can see all this here. And if we're looking over here, we see that pi over 6 has a coordinate which is root 3 over 2 comma 1/2. All right, we can use that information to then evaluate these. So sine of pi over 6, remember sine is always going to be the y coordinate, so sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. Cosine of pi over 6 is always the x part, which is root 3 over 2. Tangent of pi over 6, now this is the tougher part of this problem. This is where you can go through and you can use some of these reciprocal identities to figure some stuff out. So one of the identities, this is not a reciprocal identity, but one of the identities I know that tangent is sine over cosine. So tangent sine over cosine, because we know tangent is opposite over adjacent, and if you essentially take sine, which is opposite over hypotenuse, and cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, and divide those, the hypotenuses cancel and you end up with sine over cosine. So that's why tangent is sine over cosine. But once we know this, we can take 1/2 and divide it by root 3 over 2. So for tan pi over 6 equals 1/2 over root 3 over 2, because we're doing sine over cosine. That gives you 1/2 times 2 over root 3, which gives you 1 over root 3. Now, they might accept that answer. I don't really know if they accept that answer or not, but I think that it's good to just practice rationalizing the denominator. So I have 1 over root 3. I'm going to multiply by root 3 over root 3 to rationalize, and that would be root 3 over 3. So this is good practice. I don't know if they'll accept that answer or not. Let's take a look. If they don't accept that answer, let's just put this in there for now. So we're going to say 1 over root 3. And then we can go through and find out these other ones. So remember, we're going to use reciprocal identities. If we bring these back out, slide them up a little bit. Secant, so when we look at secant of pi over 6, that's the reciprocal of cosine. Well, cosine is root 3 over 2, so this is going to be 2 over root 3. And cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. Well, we just found tangent, so the reciprocal of that is, flip it, that's root 3 over 1, so it's just root 3. And cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, and the reciprocal of sine is just 2. And so there are your answers.